At exactly 3:17 a.m., every single dog in the billionaire's estate began barking. Not one, not two, all of them. But strangely, not one human stirred. Not the guards, not the cook, not even Mama Adaku, whose bedroom window was wide open, her night lamp still on, and her sandals neatly arranged at the foot of her bed. By sunrise, she was gone. This is African Tales by Maid. Please like, share, drop your comments, subscribe, and let us know where you're watching from. It was a calm Saturday morning in Ikoyi, Lagos. The sun filtered through cream-colored drapes that lined the arched windows of the Zikora mansion, a palatial estate that sat like a silent emperor on 8 plots of land, surrounded by manicured lawns, a Japanese koi pond, and 10-foot electric fences. Inside, the household staff moved like shadows, ironing, arranging, polishing, as though rehearsing for a royal inspection. But something was off. The house felt too quiet. Even the birds on the estate trees didn't sing that morning. No one noticed the strangeness, until Juliet, the young cook, knocked on Mama Adaku's door to serve her pap and fried plantain. No response. She knocked again. "Madam, your breakfast is ready." Still nothing. She hesitated, then opened the door slowly. What she saw was nothing and everything at once. The bedside drawer was still open, her Bible laid across it. The wrapper she wore to bed was still folded on the armchair. Her walking stick leaned against the wardrobe. And most disturbing of all, her glasses were on the bed, lenses up, as if they'd been taken off in a hurry. But the woman herself, gone. No blood, no signs of struggle, no scent of perfume, just gone. Juliet dropped the tray and screamed. Within minutes, the house exploded into panic. Security guards sprinted in all directions. The head butler, Mr. Yemi, was dialing numbers with shaky fingers. By 9 a.m., Mr. Zikora, the billionaire himself, arrived by helicopter. He didn't speak to anyone when he landed. He didn't remove his sunglasses. He walked straight into his mother's room and stood there for 5 full minutes, just staring. Then, for the first time since anyone in that house had known him, he broke down. He fell to his knees, pressed his forehead to the neatly arranged bed, and wept like a boy who had just lost his entire world. "My mother! My mama! Who would take her?" he cried, voice shaking. "She has no enemies! Why?" By noon, a press conference had been set up outside the estate. Reporters flooded in. Drones hovered overhead. Bodyguards formed human shields around Mr. Zikora. He stepped forward, removed his designer sunglasses, and held up a framed photo of his mother. His voice cracked. "This is Madame Adaku Ezine Zikora. She is 74 years old. She is my mother. She raised me with nothing but her hands and her prayers. Please, if anyone has seen her, heard anything, knows anything, come forward. I will give 10 million nairas. Cash. Just bring my mother back to me. Alive or just bring her." He broke down again. Camera shutters snapped furiously. The video clip trended in less than 2 hours. Hashtag bring Mama Zeke back. Hashtag pray for Zikora. Hashtag missing matriarch. Celebrities reposted it. Churches shared it. Spiritualists began to make prophecies. The nation wept with him. He was the son every mother would pray for. The sun was barely past its peak when Inspector James Ikenna arrived at the mansion gates, flanked by 2 officers in black tactical vests. The guards at the gate barely looked up. This wasn't their first police visit of the day. Since morning, there had been a steady stream of patrol vans, local journalists, and nosy neighbors pretending to jog past the estate for a better view. The entire city was shaken. Mama Adaku, the mother of the most generous, most philanthropic billionaire in Lagos, was gone without a trace. "We want the CCTV hard drive," Inspector James said immediately to the head butler. "And I want to speak to whoever handles the estate's security systems." The butler nodded quickly and led them inside, past gold-tinted pillars, indoor fountains, and a living room the size of a football pitch. But there was no time to admire beauty, not today. In a side room filled with monitors and blinking routers, the estate's security officer, Mr. Edwin, sat nervously at his desk. "This system records 24/7, he said. "I checked earlier this morning when we first noticed she was missing, but sir," he swallowed. Everything from last night is gone. Gone? James frowned. What do you mean gone? Like wiped. The footage from between midnight and 6 a.m. is corrupted, just that time range. James exchanged glances with his officers. It didn't add up. Has this happened before? He asked. Never, Edwin said. We've had power outages, yes, but there's a generator backup and UPS, and all other footage is intact. It's just last night. A surge of suspicion rippled in the room. One of the officers leaned in. What about the servers? Could someone have tampered with them? It's possible, but highly unlikely. You'd need admin access. Only myself, the estate manager, and Mr. Zikora have that level. James nodded slowly, fingers drumming his notepad. You'll surrender every device connected to this network. Phones, drives, all of it. This is now an active criminal investigation. As darkness fell, a sea of candle flames lit the front lawn of the estate. Pastors, celebrities, politicians, the press. Dozens of people gathered, each holding a candle. Many wore white. Some wept quietly. Others chanted prayer songs under their breath. At exactly 8 p.m., Mr. Zikora stepped onto the front porch. His suit was charcoal gray. His face, worn, hollow, red-eyed. He didn't say much. My mother, his voice cracked, is the reason I became who I am. If anyone knows anything, please, help me bring her back. Not just for me, but for a woman who has done nothing but help others. He raised his candle. Mama, wherever you are, I will find you. The crowd echoed, Amen. TV cameras zoomed in. Social media lit up. That single clip of Zikora wiping his eyes with a white handkerchief was reposted over 30,000 times before midnight. By morning, theories flooded the internet. Kidnapped for ransom. Spiritual attack from enemies. She ran away from the mansion after seeing something. Family sacrifice? Quickly taken down. In a bid to silence conspiracy, Pastor Matthew released a video. I've prayed. I've fasted. Mama Adaku is alive. She is not dead. She is in the land of the living, and she shall be found. In Jesus' name. The video went viral too. Mr. Zikora himself commented, Thank you, man of God. Your words strengthen me. Inside the mansion, things grew tense. One of the oldest stewards, Madam Zainab, quietly packed her things and resigned. I cannot work in a place where spirits walk at night, she whispered to the housekeeper. When asked what she meant, she simply replied, Did you not hear the voice from her room on Tuesday night? A soft, dragging whisper? My husband has warned me. I will not die in Lagos. She left before dawn. The rest of the staff moved like shadows. No one spoke unless spoken to. No one dared to enter Mama Adaku's bedroom again. Meanwhile, Mr. Zikora joined the search parties. He printed posters. He even visited Mama Adaku's hometown in Imo State, distributing money and begging the villagers to help. If you see my mother, just stop her and call me, he told the village chief. Please! He left behind 2 million to support local search efforts. I will not rest, he said. Not until I bring my mother home. The press nicknamed him the Crying Billionaire, Nigeria's Son of the Year. The disappearance of Mama Adaku Zikora was no longer a private family matter. It had become a national obsession. Every television station carried her photo. Her wrinkled smile and bright grandmotherly eyes stared from digital billboards and street poles across Lagos. Her voice, pulled from an old interview, played on loop on radio jingles.
Every child deserves love. That's all I tried to give my son. Just love.
The emotional pull was undeniable. Even those who had never met her, hawkers, teachers, bus drivers, spoke of her like they'd lost their own mother. Inspector James Ikena stood before a task force of 15 officers, 2 cybercrime analysts, and 1 spiritual consultant. Pinned to the whiteboard behind him were Mama Adaku's last known photograph, a floor plan of the Zikora mansion, photos of the household staff, a list of known past threats and lawsuits against the billionaire. This is now a Category 5 missing persons case, James declared. There are no signs of forced entry, no ransom call, no message. Which means Whoever took her knew the house. We are looking at an inside job. He circled the words, inside job, on the board twice. But still, nobody thought of Zikora himself. Why would they? He was mourning. He was funding the search. He was everywhere. 3 days after the disappearance, a hunter from Ogun State came forward. "I saw an old woman in the forest 2 nights ago," he claimed. "She wore white. She walked barefoot. She was humming." Police followed the lead. The vigilante group entered the forest with dogs and torches. They found a wandering woman, yes, but she wasn't Mama Adaku. She was mentally ill, had been missing from her own home for 6 months. The public sighed. The tension online shifted from hope to frustration. Then came Prophet Elijah from Port Harcourt, self-proclaimed seer of hidden places. He arrived at the estate uninvited, wearing white linen and a large wooden cross. Zikora, exhausted and emotionally spent, allowed him inside. "I see her," the prophet said dramatically. "She is in the spiritual realm, between the land of the living and the dead. You have 7 days. Either the veil is broken or she will be gone forever." He sprinkled oil, shouted in tongues, then demanded 2 million Nero for further fasting and intercession. Zikora gave him 5 million Neros. "Just bring my mother home," he whispered. The mansion, once full of life, was now a cold, tense museum. The kitchen barely operated. The chef Juliet cried while cooking. The guards whispered among themselves. Some believed it was a spiritual punishment. And then came the day Ifeoma, the housemaid who'd worked there for over 2 years, resigned without warning. She entered the housekeeper's office at 6:30 a.m. "I can't stay here anymore," she said quietly. "I see her. In my dreams." "See who?" asked the housekeeper. "Mama." The room went cold. She stands at the edge of my bed and she whispers, but I can't hear the words. "Please, I need to leave before I go mad." She didn't wait for permission. She packed and left that same morning. The following day, a small paper notice appeared outside the estate gate. "Housemaid wanted. Must be discreet, trustworthy, and able to handle high-pressure environments. Accommodation provided." It was written in the handwriting of the estate manager and approved by Zikora himself. "We'll need someone new soon," he said. "The house can't run itself." But his eyes carried something else when he said it. An exhaustion, or a secret. In a crowded motor park 2 hours away, a 22-year-old girl named Ifeoma sat on a wooden bench with her chin resting on her fist. Her mother had called to say, "There's a housemaid job in Ikoyi, Billionaire house. They're hiring immediately. Go now." Ifeoma blinked slowly, staring at the rumbling buses and fruit hawkers passing by. Her stomach rumbled. Her shoes were dusty. She had only 1,200 nairas to her name. She didn't know it yet, but by sunset she would step into the mansion that held a secret so dark it would rewrite everything she thought she knew about rich people and family. The gates of Zikora Mansion stood taller than any building Ifeoma had ever seen. Black steel, gold trimmings, a giant Z embossed into the center. She swallowed hard. Her blouse clung to her back with sweat, and the borrowed black shoes on her feet were a size too small. She clutched her nylon bag tightly. Inside were 2 wrappers, a small Bible, and a bar of black soap. "Name?" the guard at the gate asked, not even looking up. "Ifeoma Okezi. You came for the maid job?" "Yes, sir." The guard looked her over, from her frizzy natural hair tied with a scarf down to her dust-covered shoes. He opened the gate halfway. "Go in. Madam Ejiro will talk to you." The inside was like a movie. Every surface sparkled. The floor looked like polished marble. The chandelier in the entrance hallway looked like a falling galaxy. There were no signs of mourning, no black clothes, no tear-streaked relatives, no open Bible or prayer vigil. Only silence. Yes, money. "You've worked as a housemaid before?" Madam Ejiro asked, without looking up from her clipboard. "Yes, ma. I cleaned for one doctor's family in Surulere." "Why did you leave?" "They relocated to Canada." "You know how to cook?" "Only small." Madam Ejiro finally looked up. Her lashes were thick, her voice flat. "Don't worry. You're not here to cook. Just clean. Follow the rules. Don't ask questions. Keep your eyes in your head, not in your mouth. Yes, Ma. Do you believe in spirits? Ifeoma blinked. Ma, it's a simple question. Yes. I believe they exist, Ma. Madame Ejiro stared at her for a moment, then ticked something on her form and stood. You'll start tomorrow. Uniform is in your room. Don't enter anywhere you're not told to, especially upstairs. Understood? Yes, Ma. Her quarters were simple. One window, a fan, a small bed with iron legs, a framed portrait of Mama Adaku hung on the wall, her smiling, motherly face giving the room a strange warmth. You're beautiful, Ifeoma whispered, touching the photo. She didn't know this woman. She only knew what social media said, that she was the soul of the Zikora family, a giver, a lover of children, a prayer warrior. Ifeoma unpacked her bag slowly. Her chest was tight. She missed her mother, missed her two younger brothers, but there was no turning back now. She had made it into the mansion, and something about that didn't feel right. Ifeoma's first job was to clean the back patio. She mopped quietly, humming to herself, until she noticed a crack in the tiles. A faint line like something had been dragged across it, starting from the patio door and ending under the wall. She bent to inspect it. Then a cold gust of wind swept past her, though the air had been still just seconds ago. She stood, shivered, and continued mopping. She ate her food in the staff kitchen, beans and yam. There were 4 other workers, the driver, the cook, Juliet, the gardener, and the laundryman. They barely spoke, but when Juliet excused herself to get water, the laundryman leaned toward Ifeoma. Did Madame Ejiro tell you the main rule? She said not to go upstairs. Good, then don't. Why? He chewed slowly, then said, Someone went there last month. She didn't last a week. The old maid? Yes. What happened? Nobody knows, but she left without taking her salary. That tells you everything. He stood and left. Ifeoma sat frozen for a while, spoon halfway to her mouth. That night, she laid on her bed and tried to pray. But the walls creaked. The lights flickered once. Then, a soft tapping sound echoed from somewhere above her, like knuckles. Tap, tap, tap. She sat up quickly. Jesus! She grabbed her Bible and hugged it. The tapping stopped. She turned on the wall fan and laid back down, but her eyes stayed open until dawn. On her 3rd morning, she was told to scrub the marble floor in the hallway leading toward the staircase. As she cleaned, she noticed muddy footprints going up the stairs. Only one problem. All staff were told never to go up. So who had gone there? She called Juliet the cook. Auntie, please, did anyone go upstairs this morning? Juliet's eyes darted toward the stairs. Don't ask me that. Just clean and go. But, Ifeoma! Juliet grabbed her arm. Don't ask questions in this house. That night, Juliet slid a small bottle into Ifeoma's hand, a clear liquid with seeds inside. Put this under your pillow. It's for protection. Protection from what? From questions you shouldn't have asked. By her 4th morning in the mansion, Ifeoma had memorized every corner of the house, except the hallway upstairs. The upper floor, where Mr. Zikora's bedroom was located, remained untouched, undisturbed, and nearly mythical. No cleaner had ever entered. No laundry was ever sent down from there. No staff had ever claimed to see Oga himself exit that room. It was as though the space lived in its own world, cut off, guarded, silent, until today. She had just finished cleaning the dining area when Madame Ejiro called her. Ifeoma, go and mop the upstairs hallway. Just the hallway, nothing else. Yes, Ma. She climbed the stairs slowly, her bucket in one hand, mop in the other. As she reached the final step, a strange unease settled in her stomach. The hallway was long, wide, echoing. A thick red rug stretched from one end to the other. Paintings of old noblemen lined the walls. And at the far end, a tall, dark mahogany door with a brass handle, Mr. Zikora's room. As she mopped near the door, she paused. There it was, a smell, thick, sour, faintly metallic. It didn't come from the trash, it came from behind the door. She looked closer. Someone had stepped into something sticky just inside the room and dragged dark smudges across the floor near the doorway. Maybe something spilled, she told herself. She dropped to her knees and scrubbed harder. But the stain wasn't ordinary. It looked like oil, but not quite. It was darker, denser, and it refused to come out easily. Then, something even more disturbing. From inside the door, she heard it. A soft humming sound, like someone singing, very faintly. A woman's voice. She stood, held her breath. It stopped. She mopped the rest of the hallway and returned downstairs, her mind racing. She found Juliet stirring ogbono in the kitchen. The smell of crayfish and spice did little to ease her tension. "Auntie Juliet," she said quietly, is anyone cleaning Olga's room?" Juliet didn't look up. "No one cleans that room." "But I saw something on the floor, like a dark stain." "You heard what I said. And there was a smell, like something rotten. I think something spilled." Juliet slammed the spoon into the pot. "Ifeoma." The girl froze. "Yet don't ask questions in this house. Didn't I tell you already?" "But I'm telling you now for the last time. That room is not your business. That smell is not your business. The only thing that is your business is what they tell you to clean. Do you understand?" Ifeoma nodded slowly. But inside her, a stubborn thought had begun to bloom. Something is wrong upstairs. I can feel it. That evening, she lay in bed staring at the ceiling fan, her sheets clutched around her. She couldn't sleep. She couldn't stop thinking about that door, that humming, that stain, that smell. What kind of man lets his own room rot like that? She got up, sat on the bed, picked up her Bible, then put it down again. "I'll just peek in," she whispered to herself. "If there's something bad in there, I need to know." The next morning, fate made the decision for her. It rained heavily. Most of the staff were inside the laundry room, drying wet clothes and replacing bed sheets. Zikora had not been seen in 2 days. Juliet claimed he was resting upstairs. Ifeoma climbed the stairs again with a cloth and disinfectant, as though she'd been sent there. When she reached the door, she paused. The smell was stronger. Something had dried just under the crack, thick and reddish-brown. She knocked softly. No response. "Olga?" Silence. She gripped the brass handle. It turned. The door creaked open. And there it was. Mr. Zikora's bedroom. Spacious, elegant, dark. Curtains drawn. Candles burned low on the dresser. A giant bed sat in the middle, draped in white sheets, but no one was inside. No movement, no sound, only the low, heavy scent of incense and something beneath it. She stepped inside, trembling. The air felt different in this room, heavy, watching. She walked slowly to the rug and wiped the strange stain by the doorway, then dusted the vanity. Everything else looked normal, until she got to the bed. There was something off about it, the way the sheets were tucked, the way one side hung lower than the other. She dropped to her knees, not to snoop, just to mop. And as her hand reached under the bed with her cloth, she felt something. A wooden base, round, hollow, like a bowl. She froze. Her throat tightened, her hand retracted. She peeked underneath, but the curtains from the bed fell too low. "It's nothing," she whispered to herself. "Maybe a decoration." She wiped around it quickly and stood up. Her heart was racing. She backed out of the room, closed the door gently, and ran downstairs. She waited until nightfall. She locked her door, sat on the bed, took her small Nokia phone out of the pillowcase. She dialed her mother's number. It rang 3 times. "Ifeoma?" Her mother's voice came through. "Mama!" Her voice cracked. "Mama, I don't know if I should have called, but something is wrong in this house." It began with the dreams. Ifeoma saw a woman walking down a long, dark hallway, dragging something behind her. She couldn't see the face, only gray hair, and a headless body wrapped in white. Each time she got closer, the woman would turn around, but just before she saw the face, she would wake up gasping, soaked in sweat. Over the next 2 days, Ifeoma couldn't concentrate. Her hands shook while cleaning. She dropped a tray in the kitchen. She mopped the same floor twice without realizing. The mansion felt wrong. Juliet, the cook, noticed. "Are you sick?" "No, Ma." "Then focus, or you'll be sent away." But Ifeoma was not sick. She was haunted. Haunted by what she had touched. Haunted by what her mother said. Haunted by a truth she wasn't yet ready to face. By the 5th day, the mansion was under renovation in the servant wing. The plumber came to fix leaking pipes. The gardener was asked to follow the driver to pick new plants. Juliet was sent to the main market to get dry stock for the kitchen. Everyone was busy, except Ifeoma. Madame Ejiro had simply handed her a list. "Dust the top floor again, carefully. Oga is sleeping." "Yes, Ma." But she knew he wasn't. His car had left the compound an hour earlier. He's not home. Her heart beat faster. She climbed the stairs, hands trembling. The hallway was quiet. No humming this time, just that old, familiar smell, sharper now, richer, like death disguised in perfume. She knocked on the door again. Nothing. Twisted the handle, still unlocked. She pushed the door open slowly. The room was darker than before. Candles burned on either side of the bed. A thick red rug sat beside it. She walked in, slowly, mop in hand, then froze. There it was again, that shape under the bed. Round, wooden, covered with white cloth, but something was different now. The cloth had slipped slightly, just enough to reveal gray hair. She stepped back. Jesus, what is that? She dropped to her knees, not to clean this time, to look, properly. She hesitated. Then with trembling fingers, she lifted the sheet on the far side of the bed, and she screamed. Inside the wide, carved calabash, lying on dark red leaves and soaked cloth, was a human head. Eyes wide open, mouth frozen mid-scream, gray, matted hair. And as the candle flickered, Ifeoma saw the earrings. The exact same pearl earrings worn in the portrait hanging in her own room. She clutched her chest. "Met Mama Adaku!" Her scream never came. Her voice collapsed in her throat. Tears rushed to her eyes. Her legs gave way. She fell backward, gasping, hitting the corner of the dresser. "It's been here the whole time. It's been under his bed." She crawled to the door, ran out, stumbled down the stairs, locked herself in the guest toilet, and vomited violently. She waited until midnight, then turned off the light, switched off the wall fan, sat on the floor with her Nokia phone and battery torchlight. She called her mother again. "Ifeoma? Mama, I saw it. Calm down, what did you see?" "Her head, Mama Adaku's head. It's under Oga's bed, inside a calabash. Her eyes were open." Her mother was silent for a moment. "Are you sure?" "Mama, I swear it's her. I saw her earrings, the ones in the picture. He's been sleeping with her head under his bed, and the smell. Jesus Christ of Nazareth. What do I do?" Her mother's voice steadied. "Do you have any photo of what you saw?" "No, I didn't take any. Listen to me, go and take it. Even if it's just one picture, then delete it from the phone but keep it in your memory card." "Okay. Then go to the back of the estate, that small yellow house with the private guard. Knock there. Ask for Inspector James. He's the one investigating the case." "Mama, how do you know all this?" "Because I've been watching, and I knew one day the truth would show. My God is not asleep." The next morning, while Juliet went to the storage shed and the estate manager was on a call downstairs, Ifeoma crept into the room again. She lifted the sheet. Her hand trembled. Snap, one picture. Snap, another. She turned off the phone and hid it inside the mopstick handle, unscrewing the bottom like her mother taught her. Then, she went to the back compound, knocked on the yellow bungalow. A plain-looking man with tired eyes opened. "Yes?" "Sir, my name is Ifeoma. I work at Mr. Zikora's house. I know what happened to Mama Adaku, and I have proof." The room inside the yellow bungalow was nothing like the rest of the Zikora mansion. It smelled of sweat, disinfectant, and instant coffee. A small fan rattled in the corner. On the desk sat a file labeled, "Missing Person, Mama Adaku Zikora." Inspector James looked up from the photo Ifeoma had shown him. His jaw was clenched, his eyes wide. "You found this?" Under Mr. Zikora's bed? Yes, sir, Ifeoma whispered. Inspector James rose slowly, his mind spinning. The investigation had gone in every direction. Cult attacks, fake prophets, staged abductions. But no one had ever looked at the man who claimed to be hurting the most. Now, a 22-year-old housemaid had cracked the case. That night, Ifeoma was quietly relocated to a safe house. She didn't return to the staff quarters. Police made sure Juliet and the others assumed she had traveled for a family emergency. We'll handle the rest, James assured her. You've done more than enough. The next morning, a team of forensic officers, crime scene photographers, and 2 plainclothes agents were dispatched to the mansion. All of them dressed as electricians. They were installing CCTV, a cover. While upstairs, 2 officers slipped into Zikora's bedroom and found it. The calabash, the head, the dried leaves, the incense sticks, the black thread tied to the bedpost, photographed, documented, bagged. For 3 days after the discovery, Zikora walked through his mansion like a broken man. He wore white. He paced his mother's old bedroom. He prayed loud enough for the staff to hear. He knelt in the garden with a rosary, muttering, "God, please don't take my mother." No one, not one soul, suspected a thing. Even Madame Ajiro told the staff, "Oga has not slept since Madame disappeared. He cries in his sleep. God will expose the wicked who did this." Little did they know. The wicked was the one crying. Zikora still granted interviews. He still posted tearful tributes online. "Mama, if only I had said I love you one more time." He gave 10 million neros to an orphanage. He even planted trees in front of the house for Mama's spirit to rest. And yet, the truth sat silently under his bed, rotting in ritual oil. By now, Ifeoma was gone from the mansion. No goodbye, no questions. Staff only said she traveled urgently, but she hadn't traveled. She was in a government safe house, watching the drama unfold with silent fury. "They still believe him, Mama," she told her mother on the phone. "They believe Judas too," her mother replied, until it was too late. Behind the scenes, Inspector James had built his team. They had the photographs of the calabash and the head, a full written confession from Ifeoma, a spiritual report from the cult investigator confirming ritual markings on the calabash, financial data showing Zikora's net worth had tripled in the past 14 days. All they needed was the perfect moment, and they waited. Zikora called for a press gathering, a final emotional gesture to keep the case alive. "We must not forget Mama," he said to the reporters. "Her voice must not fade. Until I find her, or her spirit, I will not rest." TV stations rolled, cameras flashed. He held up a framed photo of his mother, kissed it, looked to the heavens with tears in his eyes. Then the crowd parted, and 3 unmarked black SUVs pulled into the compound, silently. Zikora didn't see them at first. Not until 6 plainclothes officers stepped out, surrounded him, and one calmly pulled out a court warrant. "Mr. Zikora Chuka, you are under arrest for the ritual murder of your mother, Madame Adaku Zikora." The entire crowd gasped. "What? Ritual? No, it's a lie." Zikora's hands shook. He dropped the frame. "No, no, 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 no. This is a mistake. I loved my mother. This is political. I'm being set up." The officers didn't respond. They handcuffed him quietly while reporters screamed questions. "Is this real? Who found out? Where's the body?" As Zikora was led to the SUV, he screamed again. "If anyone here truly knew me, you'd know I'd never do this. I loved her," a journalist shouted back. "Then why is her head under your bed?" The silence that followed was deafening. 2 days later, after his arrest, the billionaire finally spoke. Inside a dark interrogation room, wearing a simple gray tracksuit with no belt or shoelaces, Zikora sat quietly, his face hollow, pale, defeated. He didn't ask for a lawyer. He simply whispered, "I didn't want to do it. But they gave me a choice. Use her or lose everything." "Use who?" Inspector James asked. Zikora looked up, eyes red. "My mother. 9 years ago, Zikora had joined a private brotherhood for elite businessmen. They promised eternal relevance, untouchable power, and never-ending fortune. The only price? A blood vow. Every 4 years, he had to sacrifice someone related to him, not just by blood, but by bond. First, it was his cousin, then a childhood friend, then his younger brother, a car accident that made the news. But after the third round, he was warned. Next time, you must go higher. The gods have tasted your circle. Now they demand your source, the womb that birthed you. He brought his mother breakfast that morning. Pop and akara, her favorite. Inside the pop, a few drops of sleeping mixture stolen from a connection at a private clinic. She smiled at him, ate slowly, thanked him. 30 minutes later, she slumped in her room, still alive but too weak to cry for help. He lifted her with shaking arms, wrapped her in white, laid her on the red rug he had set out in his own room with candles and incantations. He cried while doing it, begged her for forgiveness, then used the dagger the cult priest gave him, carved with symbols from an ancient river goddess. The sound she made before she died never left him. He placed her head in the calabash, anointed it with oil, sealed it with cola nut and black thread, and slid it under his bed. That same night, his bank account balance mysteriously multiplied by 3. 2 new real estate deals landed in his inbox. He was invited to speak at the UN. Why no one suspected him? Because he played his grief so well, donated money, posted tearful videos, prayed with pastors, joined the search party, slept in his mother's village home. He made everyone believe he was mourning. But each time he spoke to the press, he would glance sideways. And once, during a vigil, Ifeoma remembered now. He kept glancing toward the window of his own room. Days after the arrest, Ifeoma called her mother again. "Mama, they caught him." "I know, my dear. Thank you, Jesus." They found her head, just like I said. The God that reveals secrets will always protect the innocent. "Mama, I still can't sleep. I still see her face. You were chosen, Ifeoma. If you hadn't entered that room, the whole world would still be looking for someone already gone." They cried together on the phone, and somewhere in the distance, thunder rolled. At the final court session, Ifeoma stood quietly at the back. Zikora was brought in wearing prison blue. He looked thinner now, his eyes hollow. He glanced at the crowd, then locked eyes with her. His lips moved, silently. "You." She didn't blink. She didn't flinch. She just stared at him, like the ghost of the woman he had killed. And slowly, she smiled. Zikora was arraigned before a federal high court. His lawyer pled mental instability, but the evidence was overwhelming. He was denied bail, life imprisonment, and in a haunting final moment before he was dragged out of the courtroom, he looked at the crowd and whispered, "She gave me everything, and I gave her to them." Mama Adaku was finally buried, a white casket, choir songs, no expensive celebration, just peace. As her body was lowered, Ifeoma stood at the back. No one noticed her. She held a single white rose and whispered, "Yet rest now, Mama, he can't hurt you anymore." Moral of the story: greed doesn't always look evil. Sometimes it wears a designer suit, speaks softly, and cries on national television. True wickedness can hide in the hearts of the very people we trust the most. Power built on blood will always demand more blood, and one day it will come for what you love the most. Mama Adaku gave her son life. She fed him, prayed for him, covered him in love, and in return, he gave her death. In life, remember this. No matter how hungry you are for success, if your soul dies on the way up, what have you really gained? Hey, beautiful family, what a story. From the very beginning, we all thought the billionaire was the victim. We cried with him. We prayed for his mother. We hoped for a miracle. But in the end, the person we were all defending was the person behind the pain. This story was not just about wealth, or ritual, or betrayal. It was about how evil hides in plain sight, and how sometimes it takes the boldness of just one innocent soul, like Ifeoma, to bring the truth to light. Now it's your turn, family. What part of this story shocked you the most? Did you ever suspect Zikora? What would you have done if you were in Ifeoma's shoes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk. If you're watching and thinking, I'd love to create powerful stories like this and grow a channel too, don't forget, I now offer personal coaching on how to build a successful folktale channel on YouTube and make money from your storytelling. Send an email to the address in the description below to get started. Let's make your storytelling dream a reality. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new here, and turn on your notification bell so you never miss a story that stirs the soul. Until next time, keep your heart clean, your conscience clear, and your eyes open. This is African Tales by Imadi, and I'll see you in the next story. Bye, guys.